What if the hardest part about divorce is not leaving, it's knowing how to leave the right way? Because you don't want to make any mistakes, right? Because mistakes can cost you money, time with your kids, and your future. That's why many women stay stuck in bad marriages because they are afraid of the fallout. But what if I was to tell you there would be no fallout if you left? But instead, you begin to rise up because you have safety, you have stability, you have peace. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 simple steps so that you can leave the right way before you make any big decisions, before you say anything, and before things get complicated. I've been a divorce attorney for over 15 years, and I've seen 2 types of women: women who stay and react, and women who prepare and they leave so that they can rise up. In this video, I'm going to teach you the latter. Let's get started. Step number 1, know what you have. Do you know what's going on with your financial life right now? Or are you just guessing? Not what you think you have, but what you actually have. If you don't, I get it. Because as marriages deteriorate, so does communication. And in fact, finances is the place that most women get surprised. They found out about accounts that are existing, debts they didn't expect, and money being moved without their consent. Let me tell you about the story of a woman who came to me. She and her husband had a joint bank account, and she had been putting her entire check in it. She was a breadwinner, he was a stay-at-home dad. They lived on a budget. Then one day she discovered husband had been transferring money from their joint bank account into another account. And she's thinking, why? Well, come to find out, husband had an online gaming addiction. It was so bad he actually created 5 figures worth of debt on a credit card. So what he was doing was taking money from the joint account, sliding it over to this individual account to pay the secret debt. She was devastated. The unknown can hurt you. No more, lose less. Start simple. Start with the things you already have: bank account statements, retirement statements, credit card statements, monthly expenses. Look things over to make sure there's nothing different than you expected, because people with secrets try to hide it. So you need to look for it. You need to stay with it, pay attention. Clarity gives you control. Step number 2, know what you have. Do you know what you want if you leave? Are you worried about leaving with less? I get it. I had done the exact same thing. Not knowing what's going to happen to your money, your kids, or your future is very scary. And the first thing you're going to do is think about the worst case scenario. Has this ever happened to you before, where it's something that you're really excited about doing, but all you think about is what bad thing can happen? I get it. That can happen. Let me tell you a story of a woman who came to me. She had been married to an alcoholic, and each night she worried that he would drink, because when he drank, his mood would go dark and there'd be some big fallout. So she knew the only way that she's going to get out of the situation and out of that place was to leave. But all she could worry about is the finances until she came to me, and then she left with the plan and left confidently. How much information do you need? Probably less than you think. A lot of people think you need all the answers, but you don't. Start by asking yourself very simple questions. Where do I want to live? What will the schedule be like with our kids? How much money do I need? Imagine living in a home filled with stability and peace with your kids. Now realize that your spouse is probably not going to want this for you, because they're going to want what they want. But the more you lock in to what you want, the more clear the strategies are going to be to get it. You have to define it, then design it. Step number 3, start protecting yourself. What if I told you the second you told your spouse you wanted a divorce, they'd be on a mission to stop you? Would that change what you do next? Let me tell you a story of a client who came to me. She and her husband had been married for a short period of time. This was the second marriage for both of them. They had both brought in assets and property when they came into the marriage. But over the course of the marriage, husband wasted away by spending money and all the assets on himself. When it came to the time when wife tells him that she wants a divorce, he starts telling her he wants half of the assets she brought in and half of the money that she brought in. Not fair, right? So wife goes to the cabinet to get out her documents to show that what she had prior to the marriage and what she has now. And guess what? The documents were gone. So guess what? Sometimes you just have to wait to tell your spouse everything to protect yourself. You may be wondering, when do I tell my spouse? And the answer is when you're ready. And how will you know when you're ready? Well, you'll know when you have copies of documents, you've opened new accounts, you've understood your rights, and you have guidance on moving forward. Because guess what? Your spouse doesn't want you to have a leg up, but you do need a leg up in order to stabilize your life and prepare for your future. And so that means you need to do some groundwork behind the scenes. Preparation doesn't create conflict. It prevents chaos. So either you're going to plan now or pay for chaos later. Let me be clear here. You do not have to decide today if you're going to get a divorce, but you do need to decide if you're going to stay unprepared, because waiting without preparation creates the worst outcomes. And you do want to protect yourself, right? I've worked with women who spent months waiting for their spouse to change. And I've also worked with women who wanted to get prepared. So they walked into the process calm, clear, and in control. Same situation, very different outcomes. And in fact, the only three things you need to do is step number 1, know more, lose less. Step number 2, define it, then design it. And step number 3 is plan ahead, avoid chaos later. If you're in the space right now where you're thinking about divorce, but you don't know what to do next, I have a Divorce Without Fear webinar series where you can learn about how to protect your money, your kids, and your future without worrying about missing a step. If you're interested, the link's below. And if you want information and answers to questions about your particular situation, you can schedule a consult with my office. Links also below. I want you to know you're not stuck. You just need strategies and steps to move forward. You're a woman of valor. You deserve to leave stronger.